Barbara Clare asks a wonderful question. Are there any someday builds that you would love to build someday, but you don't yet have either the skills, the space, the resources, the need, desire? I feel really strongly that at some point in my life, I will make a house. I will build a house. I'm not going to build a log cabin up in Alaska with a chainsaw. It won't be a completely solo affair, but it also, I had this old friend in early college who told all sorts of stories about his dad. And one of them was, my dad built the house I grew up in. And I was like, I grew up with a dad who built lots of stuff in my house. Like he built the deck on the back of the house 3 times. The third time he mostly got it right. So my friend was like, my dad built the house I grew up in. And I'm like, really? Your dad built the house you grew up in? So he built it himself. He built it. And my friend said, yeah. And I said, he didn't have anyone helping him? He goes, oh no, he hired contractors and a general contractor and all that to build it. And I'm like, but I think your word for building and my word for building mean 2 different things. I mean on the ground with help, but like actively laying beams and putting up walls and rocking and sheetrocking and windows and everything. I want to build a house someday, without a doubt. That's totally in the like future bucket list kind of moment. I don't have a space for it. I don't have the space for it right now. I don't have the property for it, but you know, a boy can dream. And on the bucket list, man, I'd love to build the Lego Titanic. That is such a beautiful model. I saw one in person recently, and oh my God, I have no idea where it would go. It's so dumbly huge, but it's so I'm really compelled by the Titanic as an object. And the Lego one is spectacular. Yeah. There are so many builds on my bucket list like that. But like the ones that I'm like definitely will do at some point, a house is on that list. ssdraws asks, a couple of years ago, you had the idea to convert your car into an electric one. Do you still plan on doing that? Yes, I do. No, I haven't. I have recently been, I want to turn my 1982 Toyota Land Cruiser diesel right-hand drive BJ42. It is such a magnificent machine. I want to turn it electric. I know the people that can help me execute this, and I'm just saving up a fund for it because it's not cheap to electrify. I'm saving up a fund, and you know, there's a certainly a plausibility that some client will come to us and want to build that crosses over into that. In that case, I will electrify my Land Cruiser. So it hasn't happened yet. It's definitely going to happen. Selah Pictures says, back when you gave your talk about the dodo skeleton and the Maltese falcon projects, you talked about how discovering the beginnings of a sculpting ability opened up a lot of previously inaccessible project ideas. I've recently had a similar experience with digital sculpting, they say, and I'm wondering if you kept up and expanded that skill set of sculpting. Yes, I'll explain. What tips do you have for persisting into a new but difficult skill in the face of temptation to fall back into the easy and familiar? I wouldn't say that I have persisted with the sculpting, but it comes up more and more. There's actually a small cane that I own that I really love, and I want to sculpt this raven head that I will cast in pewter. And I have been just slowly I have a drawing of it that I like, but I've been slowly letting this lattice into my head before I execute it. And for some reason, I read these 2 questions as one. Brian Baker asks, this is like on my list right afterwards, that they are a creator and having minor surgery in June on their right arm and will prevent them from actively creating for a while. They won't be able to even type on a keyboard for several weeks. Have you ever been separated for whatever reason from actively creating? How do you deal with it? Yeah, no, I do. I'm going to go off for a vacation this summer for a couple weeks, and I'll be in our summer house with no shop and no projects to execute. When I am out of this space, I satisfy my lust for by making lists. I make lots and lots and lots of lists. I make lots of sketches. And actually, Selah Pictures, sketching was not something I thought I was good at until maybe 10 or 15 years ago. Like my line, the line that I create with my hand has never made me happy until the last decade and a half. And so I continue to build my sketching skills. I sketch all the time. And I go back into that well because each time I create a drawing that satisfies me, I go back and look at it again and again and again. And more, my hands can deliver what I'm seeing in my head. And that's really lovely. So you won't be able to use your arm. I do a lot of taking in information and letting it sit in my head. So I'm working on a stage show right now, one-man stage show, one-person stage show about science communication and parenting and the Wright brothers and Icarus and Daedalus. And like, I've barely written down any of it, but like, it's like a full hour of material in here. And you remember how earlier on in this live stream, I said that when you hit a lull, it's a good marker that it might be time to try and execute something? That's where I am with this project right now. I have what feels like a real solid hour of material, but it doesn't have framing. It doesn't have finesse. And it's incumbent on me, I realized in the last couple of days, to just take this out and go perform it somewhere. And, you know, I'll have to figure out the parameters under which I want to do that. So I, as a procrastinator, I let my creative process take a lot of time before I actually start to write stuff down. So you might consider that this time without using your arms is a time to use your eyes and pay attention to the things around you and let them go into your head. You could also try audio diarying, audio for making notes. I mean, that's the other thing about the machines we all have in our houses, the phones and the computers. They all take dictation beautifully now. Although too many articles are being written from dictation because I can tell when they have ridiculous word misspellings. Lee Marsh says, after watching your build with Fawn, you mentioned your eyes get to a point you have to stop. How do you pace yourself in life? You take days off. I never take days off from thinking about stuff. On the weekends, I'm very much a hard practitioner of not doing. I really, really use the weekends for downtime. But yeah, somewhere around 9 o'clock at night, my eyes just stop focusing reliably. And I got to put down the book I'm reading. It's sad. A couple of quick ones here. elizabethhudecstudios says, what is your favorite creature? I'm going to say who. Who is your favorite creature from film or TV and why? When it comes to creatures, I know that there is a lot of deep love out there for the Farscape menagerie. My favorite creatures all hail from the Star Wars universe. It's probably a function of being, 15, 16 when Yoda shows up in the world. But like Chewbacca, my Chewbacca mask up there is still one of my favorite pieces in this building. And Chewbacca is my favorite non-human character in film. He'd be my wingman, my ride or die. I love that creature. I recently just bought an animatronic Grogu that's incredible. We'll do some videos about it. You'll see it up on the channel. Grogu is an amazing character. It really is. What's amazing to me about the Star Wars universe is despite a real unevenness in output with some of the parts of the franchise, the creature design and character execution remains amazing. Like, how many times has Lucasfilm got the cheeky robot right? Like, every single time. K2SO is one of the great robots in film. And I love Yoda. My favorite creatures are all Star Wars creatures. Thank you for watching that video. Are you as sick of the tosses to membership as I am?
Good, because here's a brand new one that I recorded today, and it's nice and short. There are 3 tiers to Tested membership, and they all offer awesome stuff. Find out about it by clicking the join link below. We'll see you there.